So we just finished the second airing on the WWE Network of the WWE United Kingdom Championship special. Now, I got off work early today. Well, actually, no, not really. I just got back early because I live so close. So that's one of the perks, I guess you could say, of living where I do. And I got here and we were in the middle, actually, not even in the middle. We were about 5 minutes into the opening match. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm just going to watch the show. I wasn't sure if Ashley was even around. And I found out later on that he wasn't. So it was kind of like, all right, that's fine. I guess we're just going to wait. And I asked you, I was like, when can we start the show tonight? And I was like, well, okay, after it completely is over. So we would have been live today if it wasn't been for like scheduling. But we're going to be, I can't say we're live right now, technically, because a lot of people didn't even know about the 3 o'clock showing on the East Coast. And this was the first time that they saw the show, unless they watched the replay that was on the network already. So, yeah, we'll go into that. Welcome to another edition of a WWE Popcast. Now talking about the United Kingdom Championship Special, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Sir Owen. Joining me, as always, is Ashley.
Yay! Other assorted night. Are you fucking kidding me? Please tell me this. Sorry, I'm need to. Okay, the show was yesterday. That makes sense. I was gonna say the guys that are in Chicago tomorrow actually did a show for Lucha Forever in Southampton yesterday on Thursday.
Well, it's interesting because Scott messaged me. Actually, he got a hold of me on the phone and everything because I chatted with him today because he's still on the road. And he has a Snapchat, which is getting hit with like massive hail while he's in his truck cab. It's insane how loud that was. But he asked me if the show was live. He thought the show was live. He wasn't aware that it was taped back in May, the beginning of the month. So he was judging on, oh my God, are they going to fly all the way from the UK to Chicago? And I'm thinking, well, in some cases, maybe, but I mean, this show's already taped. And I mean, that's because sometimes, like this is a good example with Scott. He's busy. He's not able to watch like the boards like we do and like being able to like check out the news sites to find out when the stuff is happening. And he was just seeing a show and didn't know exactly that it wasn't live or if it was taped. So it's one of those things. Like we always assume that people know because it's the internet, but sometimes people don't.
Well, the fact that they changed it from airing first on the Thursday to then actually Friday afternoon, where it would make sense for it to be, because then you're at a prime time for the actual market that you said the show was catering to.
True.
And, you know, they did it. They're trying to see off the ITV wrestling one, which it turns out isn't even being seen off by WWE. Being seen off by Impact and their schedule and not being able to fit it in. At the rate we're going, what culture is going to take it over? Because ITV will be sick of waiting on Impact.
Hey, you never know. I mean, if like...
And then how do you spell failure? JARRETT.
Well, actually, I don't know if you... I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves because this is the UK Championship show, but when it comes down to it, maybe 5-Star Wrestling will offer another $1 million and make this tournament happen.
That's just a fucking gimmick. I'm not interested in that. Every Saturday between the end of May and Christmas.
Yeah.
That is way too fucking much.
We'll cover it. Don't get me wrong. We'll cover probably quick results because I don't think
probably results. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they actually do bother to show it on television, like they sort of teased.
Right.
But whether it'll be select shows or whether it's just the finals, I don't know. Then again, when they announced that in the fitting, they cut to black because they were running over. So that's all I remember. It was like it's a 128-man tournament, and the woman that's presenting is like, "Wow, 108 tournament. That sounds."
Oh my god. Well, sometimes you just got to go home, regardless if you're done or not.
I guess.
Let's get to that. So, do you want to start off talking about a couple of things that you can see right now if you are, once you're done with the show, if you want to check out the YouTube channel of the WWE?
Arguably the YouTube qualifiers, because when they shot these on day one, the idea was that because Dunn and Seven won, that's why you had them in the number one contenders match. So spoilers, I've already told you who wins these two. But overall, the Grabwell Dunn one was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Gradwell, I think, is still relatively new, I think. It certainly seems in his way because he seems less experienced than Dunn, which is weird because he's only 23. He's younger than me, and he already seems like a bloody expert that, you know, some people aren't good at wrestling. Hello, Jinder.
I mean, look at Chris Candido. When he started out, Ashley, he wasn't even 16.
Yeah.
Mark Briscoe, he wasn't even allowed to wrestle in certain areas that had a state athletic commission.
I need to check on Sam Grabwell's age to see how old he is. Sam Grabwell. He has no age. That's a bit worrying.
He has no age. That's wonderful.
He's, oh, hang on. 1991, according to the good old Wikipedia. So, yeah, Grabwell's actually older than Dunn. Dunn looks better. I don't know why.
It's the hair.
Who knows?
I mean, granted, if he wasn't a professional wrestler, Pete Dunne could totally have been in a new wave cover band.
Yeah, and but Sam Grabwell can be Baraka in TNA if he's still there.
Baron Dax, I looked back into it. Yeah, he totally looks like Marcus Louis. He comes off like a football hooligan is basically what he does in his presentation. And he's very bland.
Most football hooligans are bland.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I'm going to get murdered tomorrow, so bye.
I'm looking at you, Vinnie Jones.
I'll do a Tyler wave as I go into the molten lava. I'm the British Terminator. Arnie, give us a wave. Arnie, give us a wave. Whee!
Yeah, these so-called qualifying matches, they ran on the May 6th show. Dunn and Gradwell was third down from the top, and Trent and Wolfgang was the semi-main. So you knew right away.
Yeah. The Grabwell one was good, but as you'd expect, considering the history that they've got, ICW, mainly ICW, they have wrestled in matches against each other in some other places as well. But
true.
Seven and Wolfgang put on a really good match.
Well, to the shock of absolutely no one.
Well, no. That's, yeah. But no. I don't know. Yeah, but no.
I don't even know what that was. Or
That was Little
assorted other
Britain.
languages like that, I guess.
That was Little Britain.
Ah,
And then it just goes off into even nonsense that I couldn't even make up.
that's not possible.
If you've seen anything of Little Britain, you'll know that there's some stuff even I would like. Oh.
God. So yeah, right now at your leisure, go check them out on YouTube. Both matches are in their entirety. They're both at least 13 minutes long.
Yeah,
they're both under 50.
About half an hour for the two,
Yeah.
but you're gonna get some good wrestling out of it.
Completely agreed.
Then we get to, I guess, the actual main show, which the video package at the start was beautiful as you'd expect.
No surprise
Although,
again.
I would like to point out one thing. It's not Norwich.
You're gonna jump all over that too.
Well, you know, if you're gonna present it, say it right.
Again, like we said before we got on air, it's one of those things that you even got to commend Jim Ross for even being there, much less doing commentary.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just you'd thought they'd learn how to actually pronounce it sort of in the actual dialect, even if it is an American person saying it. Norwich, I'd say, is pretty easier to say than Norwich.
Oh, you mean like just say that it rhymes with porridge?
Yeah.
That's an easy way to describe it. But that's how I would describe it, at least, in that case.
Sandwich.
You want to talk about the green screen?
Oh, this shit. Yeah, so we get a camera to film the crowd from like a vague place that might be on the stage. And we'll just get JR and Nigel as if they're on the stage. Not looking behind them. Because they realize where the fuck would they look? Because they don't know where it is. Because I guess they didn't have the footage running on a side screen. I don't know. But we saw it later on as well, but it wasn't as obvious because they were sort of, it's as if they were like stood on the Tron behind, you know, where the WWE logo thing is.
Right.
That, you know, that sort of made sense. You know, if they did that, I'd have been all right. But like green screening them in front of the crowd, you know, and you could tell as well because if they knew the camera was actually there and there was somebody there, I mean, there probably wouldn't be signs because they might not have allowed them in. But
Right.
like they'd be reacting to the crowd, they'd be reacting a lot more rather than just doing generic cheering sort of stuff.
I can see
not
that.
knowing what
I
it
see
was
your point.
for. That's my only criticism in terms of the presentation of visually. Really. Orally, this is when we get to the next issue, which is mainly affected by the opening match because it's Wolfgang who gets no crowd reaction because they've dubbed in different music to whatever he entered with. Versus Connors, who has dubbed music, so you can't hear the crowd reaction because I guess he had a different or variation, just like with Wolfgang. So it was like no crowd reaction versus no crowd reaction, which I'm pretty sure isn't what happened.
The weird thing about Wolfgang's music, actually, I don't know if you caught it right away, but the dubbed over WWE version of Wolfgang's music sounded a whole lot like a Tom Petty ripoff.
Well,
something that I wrote down in my notes. I had some really weird notes on this show, to be honest.
Elite.
I stay away from chants and everything. Well, sometimes it just kind of depends. Good stuff here. Joseph Connors, for those of you that only seen his What Culture Pro Wrestling appearances, he's kind of somebody that you wouldn't necessarily think is as good as he actually is. And I wish more people wouldn't have slept on him. He probably would have been in a major company here in the US like real quick if people would have caught on to it right away. One of the things I will give 100% credit this match is I like Wolfgang selling in this match greatly. Connors worked the ribs the whole match. And at one point, Connors went for, well, what normally would be a slingshot DDT, but he hit a slingshot flatliner instead. He got a near fall for it. And he hit an overhead, over the shoulder sit out powerbomb for a near fall. And then Connors worked him over for a bit, but he ended up getting caught with a spear. Here's my favorite part of this match, Ash. I don't know if you like this or not, but as he just dropped in the call, we'll be back. One of my favorite spots in the entire match, without a doubt. Wolfgang goes up for the howling for the swanton. And before he leaps from the top rope, he clutches his ribs and still hits it. That right there was something I very much enjoyed. Ashley, are you back? Nope. I mean, it wasn't like a match to write home about, but it was a decent way to kick off the show. Weirdly enough, Ashley was talking before we went on the air about Wolfgang being surprised, him being a babyface here.
Well, it's just that nearly everywhere that he is, he's normally been portrayed as the heel. Certainly, you know, his current tenure in everything. In ICW was arguably, you could say, that finished.
Right.
When they, I guess, sort of did the double turn at the last show. Because I'm guessing they probably hate Joe more for siding with Red Lightning, so I guess he technically might be face now, but certainly it's interesting to see him out there as a good guy, and you know, he still seems to be working it, which is the positive thing. It's not somebody that is going to be typecast as only one role. That's why I'm a little concerned for Bate. Sorry, not Bate. I'm a little concerned for Dunn, because he seems too perfect to just be heel all the time.
I mean, I guess we'll see where we go with that. I mean, you actually dropped off when I made my comment. One of my obviously you guys that are listening right now will be like, oh, you go say this again. Well, Ashley didn't hear it, so I'm going to repeat myself here.
Yes.
One of the things that I enjoyed greatly about this match was Wolfgang selling. And the little thing about before he went for the howling, before he went up top for the swanton, right before he leapt off the top rope, he clutched his ribs and hit it with one arm, basically.
Yeah.
I love that.
Little touches.
Totally. It's just the little things. We say this all the time on this show.
We'll get to it, obviously, later. The same with Seven.
Right.
And for
the
first half, he was just selling the fact that he basically was working on one arm.
Oh, absolutely.
No, take note, Okada. That's how you sell injuries.
Yikes.
Well, it had to be said.
Yeah, it's
He's
true.
gonna have to learn the hard way.
And then we move forward
to I mean, is this just the Alan Partridge Memorial match? I don't know.
Oh boy.
So TJP and Brian Kendrick, the definitive article. Brian Kendrick taking on Rich Swann and Dan.
In all letters with like sparklies all around it too.
No, it's like size 72 font bold.
It's the Bill Brasky of the United Kingdom Championship show.
I don't know what that is, but I'll just nod and say yes.
Hopefully some of you out there got that Saturday Night Live reference. Yeah, crowd just wanted Dan straight up. The idea for this match, honestly, was the fact that you had two veterans in Perkins and Kendrick working with Swann and Maloney on this stage. Obviously, Rich Swann's been there before. I don't know much about the man they call Dan, but
Dan, he's only
actually
20.
Yeah, so Dan Maloney is definitely he's a rookie, basically.
I'm trying to remember.
How long has he been in the business is my question,
Well, I saw him on the Fight Club Pro pre-show before Shikara's, whatever the name of it was, 2 years ago in 2014.
Okay.
2015, I mean. Which, of course, also had Mustache Mountain on. Like, yeah, I saw them all, as it turned out.
Okay, I mean, he's been in the business since 2013,
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, from what I remember, the match he had on that show was one-on-one with Soldier Ant. Which, considering me and Owen know who Soldier Ant really is, that shows you how much sort of acknowledgement there was. And I think Dan went over.
That sounds
I
right.
vaguely remember. Can't remember. It would have been Chikara Special Night 1. I've got it on DVD downstairs. I can't plug it in right now. But yeah, Dan is one that I am interested in. It's a shame he sort of got put into this cruiserweight thing.
Right.
To some extent. But I'm pleased to see he's getting an opportunity as well, because I think you need more young up-and-comers rather than old-timers. I mean, I shouldn't be calling Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and probably to some extent Trent Seven as old-timers. But, Trent's 35, Nakamura's 37, Zayn and Owens are probably in their mid-30s, I'm guessing.
Right.
So actually getting young blood in, like your 23-year-old Dunn, your 20-year-old Bate, your 20-year-old Dan Maloney, yeah, your 27-year-old Adam Cole.
That's tomorrow.
I don't think it is. I think we're just trying to put two and two together and make baby. To be honest, this match was pretty much saved by the crowd.
I agree.
Just doing everything.
My note simply said everything is Dan.
Yeah. Everything is no longer awesome. It's now Dan. We've moved up.
My notes simply say two things. TJ is a wanker. Everything is Dan.
Yes. Yeah. I do like the fact that Jim Ross is like, what is this term, wanker? And Nigel's just like, well, I don't think I can tell you. And JR finishes, oh, we get thrown off the air? And, yep. Oh. And the amount of times as well, like, good old Nigel was dropping references like, let's be stereotypical. Wolfgang's from Scotland, so let's say he wasn't drinking his iron brew. Whee! Dan's from Birmingham. I don't know whether they had that because all I remember is the Dan show.
Yeah.
The thing is, it started right from his entrance.
Yeah.
I think just because the Dan bit was so big, that might be why. I don't know. I don't
Does make
remember
sense.
the Dan thing being at the Chicago show a few years back.
I mean, it was slightly there during the UK Championship tournament, but there wasn't really enough time to get it started. But it was definitely there, somewhat.
I can't. Did he lose in the first round or did he win and get knocked out in the second? I can't remember.
I actually had his bio up on Cage Match a minute ago, and I totally logged off the site.
Boo.
Yeah, I got this. So yeah, tournaments.
Also, keep in mind, him, Bates, and Seven went to Philadelphia 2 years ago,
right,
and faced three guys that you might have heard of called the Young Bucks and AJ Styles.
Dan lost to Mark Andrews in the first round.
Okay. That's why he didn't get out. I vaguely remember it was more prominent in the 10-man tag or whatever they did?
Mm-hmm.
The mass tag match that they did for the second night. But still, it was sort of. There was the one nice spot when TJ managed to grab his own teammate's arm and start working it over. And then Swan and Maloney in sort of jazz hand style were on the outside going, "We're here." And TJ's like, "Well, if you're there, then what am I?" And just Kendrick's looking at him like pissed out of all hell. And then what was a nice little upset, I'd argue, the heels actually got the win.
Yeah, I didn't like the finish though. It was a weak. It was a weak roll up. Yeah, with the tights.
For the tights. Well, there's always got to be a 1 week finish, so we can blame Brian Kendrick for training Eva Marie.
Oh God.
Hashtag all that time spent training her, and for what? Nothing.
She's a movie star now, apparently. I don't know where, but I mean,
until Impact wants her in the Knockouts division, because she's a really good role model.
oh God.
And then they have a wrestle for the GFW Women's title, and they go, "Holy shit!"
I will say
I
one.
thought Survivor's Jenna was bad.
Oh dear God, no. I will say one really cool spot about this match is when Swan got the hot tag, and he ran crazy and he basically doubled over Brian Kendrick, and he pretty much hit a somersault leg drop, like a double somersault leg drop to the back of the neck, kind of like a standing Harlem Hangover, but like literally, like not just over, like literally up and over.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I thought that was really cool. And Swan ended up hitting a really like awkward looking a Manhattan drop, an inverted atomic drop off the top. I thought that looked good. Maloney gets sent to the outside. Swan gets caught in the captain's hook. Maloney makes the save, and this leads to the roll up for the win. Yeah, this was fine. I would say overall, match quality wise, it's the weakest on the show, but you kind of have to do that when you're going with only a few matches. You have to have the odd one out, even though it was a decent match. It was a solid match. It's still something missing. As much as I hate to say it, it felt like the 205 Live guys are the ones that brought it down. Not their fault. It's just how it worked out.
Yeah, I guess we couldn't handle it.
Yeah, exactly. The chemistry wasn't enough because like the power of Dan compelled everyone, and it just wasn't enough apparently. I mean, we saw many Dan moves, and it wasn't enough in the very end. So let's move on to something you normally cover here on these shows, and that is a quick interview with Trent Seven after we showed the match. I believe didn't they show the highlights from the match with Wolfgang where the arm got injured first? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they did. And of course, Charlie's there. I think the only time we saw her on the show. So like, nice. And it was just, what's you thinking? It's like, look, I might be hurt, but I'm not giving up that opportunity. And then Pete walks in. And of course, strong style, but obviously in this storyline, they're enemies. The thing is, I did notice that like that Trent glanced down. I guess implying that Pete was wearing the belt. I don't know. But either way, Pete went straight after that elbow, smacked it against the wall, went and left. Trent basically did his best impression.
I never noticed until I watched this show and watched this attack just how similar Pete Dunne is to Marty Scurll.
Yeah.
In a lot of different ways.
That's why that's why any matches that happened between them were pretty awkward. Because that's like, yeah, they're both very similar in style. Except, admittedly, Marty has a submission finisher rather than a submission, I guess, signature. If we're going on WWE 2K slang.
Oh, you mean the fact that he's basically telegraphing what I've been saying for months now, with using the Regal Stretch as one of his signature moves?
Yeah. But yeah, this match was really good. Just very nice sort of back and forth. Not a lot of technical wrestling. It was mainly just a heck of a lot of selling from Trent as Pete just kept working the elbow in various different forms, kicking it, bending it into weird shapes, doing stiff moves. I am confused as to where Trent decided to borrow Okada's moveset from. The good old, what is it? Seven lariat? I can't remember.
7-star lariat.
Yeah.
I don't know. At some points in this match, it might as well have been Kenta Kobashi versus long day. Kenta Kobashi versus Mitsuharu Misawa.
Yeah.
Definitely odes to both men with the movesets.
Certainly. Have you got any other more detailed spots?
God, yes, I do. Um, so Pete Dunne comes out with and is announced as the Progress champion.
Just the way that he has that in his teeth, it's really very well done.
He's like a little pit bull. That's the bruiserweight gimmick that makes sense. I like that.
Also, it's swinging between his legs because
Yeah.
he's a dick.
We had some dueling crowd chants with Mustache Mountain and Bruiserweight. British Strong Style was chanted. There was a point in this match that Jim Ross got on a high horse on a soapbox about the Kimura being like an in thing to say now to call a double wrist lock, and brought up Billy Robinson and everything. I was like, oh man.
Just because some bloke in MMA called Kimura did it, they call it a Kimura. Well, it's actually double wrist lock.
Yeah, I wrote that down in my notes here. Solid match here. Pete Dunne hits a German. Trent Seven ends up hitting an Emerald Trojan. What's with everybody using that now? That's the second show in a week I've had to call with that move in it.
The irony is the way that the certain bits in this match went. I would have called it Emerald Flosion.
Yeah.
Had it not been for the fact that an Emerald Flosion move actually did happen.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is never used, and now it's just being used randomly. You're ruining my Emerald Flosion there, guys.
Which actually, it's weird because if we would be, when we talk about the House of Hardcore show, I'm sure during the Tommy Dreamer Cody Rhodes match that may or may not be taking place as we speak right now, basically a Dreamer driver is an Emerald Flosion. So that's an interesting way to look at it. So Dunn hits the Orange Crush for a near fall. And he works the double wrist lock. Seven gets the ropes. They go to the outside, and Dunn works the arm numerous times. And then Trent Seven ends up hitting a Tiger Suplex 85 on the ring apron. That for some reason they called a Dragon Suplex, but I did not see the full Nelson. I only saw the half Nelson. So yes, Tiger Suplex 85. Thus more continuing the Misawa versus Kabashi argument I made at the beginning when I started talking about this match.
Apparently it's
really good. It is the hardest part of the ring. They tease the double count out, which of course there's no 20 count. It was only a 10. They get back at 99999.
Did we mention the novel way of using the steps?
It was interesting that he has his arm in the ring steps, which is normally what you do anyway. But he had it in a unique way that it looks like it killed him, but it was completely safe.
Yeah, basically he put it in the joint, really.
Yep, exactly.
Between the stairs and the pole, and kicked the stairs. So it's obviously, stairs, arm, pole. Arm is the meat in the middle, and somebody squeezed a sandwich.
Yeah.
And of course, it was the bad arm as well. So it was like continuity. I like this shit.
Yeah, absolutely love that here. So at this point, Seven goes for the Dragon Suplex. This time, a real Dragon Suplex. Pete Dunne floats over, lands on his feet, starts working away, and he ends up getting decimated with a lariat, spins him like a top. And Seven clutches the arm because, of course, he's down because he used his own injured arm to create more damage. So I like that. That worked really well. And the fact that they sold the fact that it wasn't as at full strength like it could have been, like it would have been if his arm would have been 100%. So that's the reason that Pete Dunne was able to kick out. Because otherwise, he would have probably been down for the 3. So Dunn ends up locking on a hanging double wrist lock. Seven fights out of it. Snapdragon drops him right on his neck. And then I like this because the setup here was done really well. There was a counter into the bitter end, which was as smooth as silk. It was so fluid between them. I loved every second of it, because this is where I got excited, because Trent Seven sets up a cutthroat driver, or like a cutthroat burning hammer, marking out, cutthroat suplex, whatever you want to call it. He sets up the cutthroat suplex, cutthroat driver, and he floats out of it, and he rocks it right into the snap flatliner and hits the bitter end and gets the 3 count. Just a phenomenal way to finish the match.
Yeah, it was pretty beautiful.
I really like the finish of this match very much, actually. I mean, it's not necessarily up there with Ricochet and Ospreay from Best of Super Juniors, but I mean, it still was very good.
Why are we trying to compare them? That's New Japan.
Because I've been watching them, so that's why it's in my head right now. This is a very solid wrestling match, a good way to show psychology, and great selling for Trent Seven here.
A good way to showcase Fight Club Pro.
Yes.
/ Progress Wrestling.
Absolutely. And also made Pete Dunne out to be
Lucha Forever.
Now Pete Dunne looks like he's a major contender. Even more so than he did before. He looks like he's a dangerous threat to Tyler Bate right now. And that's exactly what it needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Tyler Bate, first we get Pete Dunne on the mic.
Any means necessary.
Yep.
Is how so are we gonna have some important shit? Who knows? I mean, they've left it open as to obviously having him win.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm thinking he might lose, but beat the crap out of him afterwards.
And that could lead to what we talked about offline.
Because I honestly think, to make it more special, have the UK title change hands for the first time in the UK. I know it got crowned in the UK, but I just think if you had it happen on a bigger weekend, like if you had it on the NXT before SummerSlam, then I might be interested. But because it's a not big show, if it was Money in the Bank, it'd be interesting, but obviously it won't be. Because I don't think they'll be doing another NXT takeover in a month. I would have thought. So I just think the timing would be right to have it happen somewhere else down the line to keep establishing Tyler as sort of the champ. Because really nobody else has tried to put him as the champ in any of the promotions he's been in yet, mainly because of his age. So the fact that WWE said, yeah, we'll let you have a run with the belt. Basically, the main reason I want it is so when the title does change hands, let's hopefully say November, he can actually legally drown his sorrows in a US bar.
I'm just thinking right now, like, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I might as well bring it up anyway. I've been saying for a while now, the interaction after the first round of the United Kingdom Championship tournament, and what happens at the end of this show, which we're getting to momentarily. I really think we're building to Pete Dunne as United Kingdom champion against William Regal.
Oh, shit.
I really think this is going to happen. And either could be, I'm going to beat some respect into you and give the United Kingdom championship more prestige. And if we could play it off the fact that Regal hasn't gone for a title in God knows how long. And this is, I mean, it's not a world championship, but it's the closest thing we're going to get at this point. Kind of a storyline we should have done in NXT with Regal. He's had a lot of start-stops with doing storylines that never really got going. This is something I think that could have legs. And in the UK, do this match. Whether you put Regal over in a non-title match or you have Regal lose after a valiant fight and really, really put Pete Dunne over, I really think that that's the direction we're heading towards. Whether it's now or later, I really think that the seeds are being planted for Regal and Dunne.
Yeah.
And I want to see this.
Certainly a potential.
I want to see this very much. Main event time. Mark Andrews comes out. Like you said, the dub music made it not have much of a crowd reaction.
Part of me thinks they had to do an alternate version of his own music.
Yeah, because
you could sort of see from the way he was reacting, it was the right sort of beat and the sound.
Right.
So I think it just might have been whatever they had. You know, I don't know.
To be honest, Ashley, it kind of sounded like a British version of Blink-182.
I wasn't saying it was going to be original. Never get that, Sean, and never shit yet.
CFO $, welcome to your tape.
God damn it.
Reference in a while, so I thought I'd do it tonight. It makes sense. This is a really solid match. They gave it 20 plus minutes to really build. And it was just a slick back and forth wrestling match for at least the first third of the match. And then we went into craziness. And kudos to Nigel for calling the Billy Goat's curse into the swinging pendulum.
Yep.
I like that. That was nice. Rolling prawn hold for a near fall. But Andrews kicks out. It's so hard for me, as much as I recap Impact, to not call him Mandrews. I wrote Mandrews in my notes.
I think partially we can, because his Twitter handle is Mandrews. Still.
Okay, we're good.
Although it is worth noting the handle is now Mandrews Jr.
That's random.
It is not Mandrews TNA. Because that would have been a bit awkward to put on the graphics, isn't it?
That would have been hilarious, actually.
Then again, there was that two fucking idiots in the crowd that went, TNA, TNA, and then about 10 went, boo. And then about 200 went, delete, delete, delete. That was fun.
Here's some more good stuff in this match. So Mandrews hits an Enziguri, hits a Hurricane Rana. Bate goes to the outside. He goes to the Tope Suicida, and Bate gets rolled back into the ring. Rolled into the double boot stomp. Northern Lights going for the standing moonsault after the roll through, but he gets caught with a European uppercut, which I liked. And Mandrews catches him out of nowhere and still hits the standing moonsault for the near fall. So Tyler goes for a tope from not through the middle, but like through the bottom in the middle, which actually worked quite well. I like that. That was nice. At one point in this match that I definitely want to talk about, I got to make sure I haven't gone through it. No, I haven't. It was really cool because he countered it into a tiger feint kick, or as I would be calling it right now, is the 029, which is the area code for Cardiff, Wales. Because Owen does his homework, especially when it's not live.
Jesus Christ.
Exactly. So they set up the Tyler Driver 97, but he counters out of it. It was a weird counter because it set it up and it looked like he was going to try to run him out of it. And they were jockeying for position. And they were about ready to lose it. And Mandrews basically hits a Frankensteiner and just spikes him right on his head. So they took something that could have been absolutely completely lost, and they saved it at the last minute to make the move actually work. I like that. So
just the way it started so technically at the start, and then probably about halfway in, it started getting into actually doing moves.
Yes, and that's when I kick into gear because that's what I enjoy doing.
But that's being very respectful to the old style of British wrestling.
Totally.
Being very submission, very mat based.
Exactly.
Very working down, limbs and appendages and everything.
Yeah, it's working.
Doing the modern flippy shit.
Yes, dive.
Flippy. Well, I shouldn't say flippy shit, but certainly much more sort of modern, and certainly some elements of strong style, some elements of your lucha, which I think is probably what the new generation of British wrestling is right now.
Yeah, I'd say
it's sure. Best.
It's a mixture of lucha and strong style.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it too. So we get back to action, and Andrews hits the sliced bread number 2 on the ring apron. I thought that was really well done, but he can't capitalize because the momentum carries Tyler Bate to the outside. I like this because he goes for a moonsault press off the ring apron, and it gets countered into a tornado DDT. Great stuff here. So Mandrews goes up top. Tyler grabs his leg, and he gets caught with an enziguri kick. I like how Bate just randomly crotches him on the top rope. Like, just so nonchalantly does it. And then it's a diving European uppercut for a near fall. We get a double down. They fight on their knees. God help anybody that just tuned on the podcast when I just said that right there. God knows the thing I'm talking about. So they light each other up. I like this. I believe it's Bop and Bang. Is that the right and the left, Ashley?
Oh, I'm trying to remember what that Bop It thing's called.
It's a toy in the 90s, actually. It's really cumbersome to use.
There's a Bop It. There was a Bop It, but there was also a Twist It. So I guess it's a Bop and Twist. I don't know.
Yeah. Nigel loves to bring up the left and right hand. So, yeah, if the right one won't get you, the left one will. And this time it happened. And then Mandrews gets caught with another European, and then they go for the airplane spin. But Mandrews ends up hitting a reverse Rana. Gets a great, really close near fall on this. The fans really bought into it. I like that. He goes up top, and Tyler catches him with an enziguri, and he puts him up on the shoulders. Mandrews hits the Hurricane Rana and a Red Star press for a near fall. And then out of nowhere, it was great because Tyler just super kicks him, like straight standing side kick, hits the lariat, and then he ends up trying to finish him off. And Mandrews counters in a Stun Dog Millionaire, goes up top of the Shooting Star press. But of course, I think everybody should realize now that when you go for the Shooting Star press, chances are someone's either going to move or they're going to put their knees up. And that's exactly what happened. He ate nothing but knees. Bate hit the Capo kick, and then the Tyler Driver 97 gets the win clean. This match was awesome. Totally enjoyed this, and it was worth every minute of the time that I spent watching it and so much more. If you have not watched this match and you like what is now the new strong style, the new British wrestling, and if you're a fan of either of these stars, check this out, seriously. It's going to get you in the mood. These last two matches are going to get you in the mood for Dunn and Bate at TakeOver tomorrow night, and I cannot wait to call that match.
Oh, it's going to be interesting with Jim Ross on there as well.
Yeah, I mean, JR and Nigel had an interesting compatibility when it came to this show. I think it worked quite well. I mean, there were some times that Jim was a little bit slow in the draw, and Nigel kind of carried him around a little bit. But it wasn't the fact that Jim Ross was carried by Nigel McGuinness. It was the fact that Nigel helped better Jim Ross here. And they both worked as a team. And that's something you don't see too often when it comes to WWE branded commentary teams. They don't normally work with each other. They're normally trying to throw each other under the bus and get each other over. And Nigel and JR worked together as a cohesive unit in order to make sure the information was getting out and the action was being called. So it's a great dichotomy where everything is all mashed up nicely well together, where normally you have Michael Cole and JBL, and it's just I don't care. But you could tell that clearly Jim Ross and Nigel knew what they were talking about. And I like this team, and it's nice to know they're going to be calling the Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate UK Championship match tomorrow at TakeOver in Chicago. And on top of that, it was announced today, Ashley, that Jim Ross is going to be calling the Women's Championship tournament, which is starting in July at Full Sail.
Makes sense.
Welcome, Logan, to chat. And then, of course, because the match is over, Pete Dunne comes out, and he jumps Mandrews, and here comes Regal, and he's like, no, this ain't happening. Not here, not now. And then there's a massive stare down between Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, and that's how we go home.
The finger point of All Right Sunshine, as I call it.
Yes, I completely agree with that. This was a solid show, and it was a very easy show to watch, too. Less than 2 hours. It wasn't overbearing. The commentary didn't make me want to rip my hair out. I enjoyed it. I thought it was well done. I cannot wait for the next one. I just hope it doesn't clash with anything else that we're doing here on this network.
Well, it will.
I know. Or in your case, other networks. So
WWE's consistent that way.
Yes, they are. And that's Bailey's move. So
the positive thing is this seems to be a one-off, so they've yet to work out what day to actually put the stuff on.
For example, like you mentioned before you went on the air, what are they going to do with the other matches? Are they going to issue these online potentially, or are these going to end up as exclusives somewhere down the line?
Are these going to sort of impromptu be the first couple of episodes of the tape?
Yeah, I mean,
they happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of matches that weren't on the show. I don't know how many of them were actually extremely good. I mean, the first night Tyler Bate defended against Joseph Connors, and I'd like to have seen that match, to be honest. But I mean, it's very interesting to see what happens. So, yeah, it was very well done. I actually greatly enjoyed the show. And it's nice because with WWE normally, I just don't care. I don't care whatsoever. But it was nice because we were able to do a Ring of Honor Popcast recently, and that was fun. And we did this Popcast, which is fun. Tomorrow's TakeOver Popcast is going to be fun. And Sunday, well, it's either going to be a really fun night where awesome things happen that I'm happy about, or I'm just going to hate life because there's a lot of things that could be involved in Sunday that could go very, very wrong.
Yeah.
Let's see if that happens. So, we are finished with our United Kingdom talk. Real quick, Ashley, we do want to talk about what's going on with New Japan real quick with the press conference we had.
Not even that, because from what I can tell, and this is the latest update from Dave.
Okay.
Next week on Access, you people that did not stay up very late in the day in January are going to get a treat, because they're basically going to be showing all 4 episodes of Access TV from Wrestle Kingdom 11
Yes.
back from 7 till 11 next Friday.
Ooh. I gotta check see if I have Access TV.
I hope they do it in reverse order, so they actually end with Okada and Omega rather than have it first.
Once
In all
again,
honesty.
cheap plug. You want to hear Ashley and I talk about Wrestle Kingdom 11? There is a podcast that exists on this network where we discuss every match in great order and in great detail. So yeah, if you want to check out Ashley and I talking about New Japan like in depth, not just normal stuff we do on Wednesday, that podcast exists here on this network. And Logan agrees with us about Regal and Pete Dunne too. So yes, great minds think alike, Logan.
So the press conference yesterday.
Yes.
If I get the blog post up that had the info, I can find it somewhere over the rainbow. So they've basically, in terms of dates, the Saturday, July the 1st show will be live on Access. More details about that will be coming. In a few minutes, because I'm just trying to get the I'm trying to get the report up.
I've got the report up right now, actually.
The Sunday one will be live on New Japan World.
Yep.
And won't be blocked from what I can tell, in case people do want to see it and everything. But oh wait, did that actually move? Damn it. So they're going to be airing it on tape delay, I think, on is it the Friday?
Yeah, I mean, it is July 7th, which is going to be airing that Friday on Access for day 2, which means you're getting 2 Popcasts from us and another impromptu long pop weekend, because July 1st, we're going to go live here on the East Coast after the G1 show finishes in Long Beach. And on July 2nd, we're covering Slammiversary for Impact Wrestling. And then on the 7th, we're going to cover day 2. So you're going to get both nights covered.
And then on the 9th, Great Balls of Fire.
That's exactly right.
Jesus.
We are always working here on the Popcast Network if you're a wrestling fan. It is a good time to be a wrestling fan and be a viewer of this network, for sure.
So they've announced the talent that will be heading over.
I want to start with this too. It's so random.
There's some interesting names in each of the sections. So for New Japan, we got Tanahashi. I guess that's up in the air as to like whether the injury is bad enough.
Yeah, he may not get the actual surgery itself, but if he doesn't, his arm's basically going to have a deformity for the remainder of time, so it's probably in his best interest to get the surgery.
Yeah, but how long's his career got?
Another reason that he has the John Cena comparison.
Then Michael Elgin, because yes, he's New Japan.
Yeah, he's not Ring of Honor anymore.
I know, but it's like,
Speaking
is
of
he
Ring of
truly New
Honor,
Japan? Kushida, the current TV champ. Jushin Thunder Liger, which could be one of his last ever times to America.
I'd say so.
Possibly. Unless he's going to be doing matches all the time. It's just he's not going to be in the Super Juniors. I'm not sure. David Finlay. The Tempura Boys. Ryo Komatsu and Sho Tanaka.
That's a shocking one, honestly.
The one-off return, possibly. Unless they're going back. Because of all their experience. I don't know. Jay White will be wrestling again for New Japan again. Yoshitatsu.
Good, you're save him for last. Good job.
Yoshitatsu, why? And then, because, yeah, he's New Japan, because he wrestled for them once
Yes.
as part of the tag league.
Gonna fight with a young boy, basically, after the match was over.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Fucking Billy Gunn.
Yep.
I mean, I'm hoping Jay White's in the US title tournament.
I'm sure he will be.
Because that's the only reason I could think him being there, in all honesty. So for Chaos, we've got Okada, Ishii, Ospreay, and Roppongi Vice. No Goto.
That's very interesting.
So Goto's winning the G1. Methinks. Because he's being rested.
I see someone else's
LIJ.
name that's not listed on this list that you're probably not even thinking of. You know who's not on this list at all?
Are we talking about Chaos here?
No, in general, I looked at the entire list. There's someone's name on here that should be here that's not.
Well, it won't be him. Unless you're doing it to work me. So I'm trying to look through the rest of the list.
Someone we've been talking about a lot here on this network on the Wednesday show that I've been saying somebody that's having a great year and that would be a really good contender for the new U.S. Championship. And he's nowhere to be found on this lineup. And it's the first name that I came to my mind.
Fucking Cabana.
Ashley, where is Juice Robinson?
Yeah.
It sticks out like
I've
a sore
just
thumb.
got a feeling that circumstances could change that.
We'll see. I hope so.
Because I don't think they really need to announce him.
Well, no, but they announced everybody
I don't know
else.
how much of an asset he is to the big stuff.
For sake of argument, they announced Billy Gunn, and he's New Japan by default. So
He's nostalgia, though, isn't he?
him and Yoshitatsu teaming up in like a DX tag team would probably be something that I could see happening, or maybe like a 6-man for like the never open weight titles.
So all 5 of LIJ are in.
Yep.
The only representative from Suzuki Gun is Zack Sabre Jr. Because reasons.
Suzuki Gun is dead in the water.
Saber's either going to be going for well, no, he can't go for the never open weight title because
Nope.
So logically, if that's the case, then Goto can't be winning the belt back.
Nope.
At the next show. Otherwise, he is getting added to this show. Who knows?
I don't know. What if they give Juice Robinson the
Gonna
G1?
have the Briscoes. Ring of Honor's gonna have the Briscoes, War Machines, and Jay Lethal. Dragon Lee, Volador Jr., and Titan for CMLL. I am honestly now thinking, especially because of what happened on day one of Super Juniors,
Yes.
Dragon Lee's facing Takahashi.
Yes.
Again.
A million times. Yes.
Beach. On one of the shows. And the thing is, because it's special one-off shows, and because the G1 guys, which isn't them, are going to be then fighting 2 weeks later, this is the bit where these guys could murder each other.
Oh, yeah, for
in a
sure.
good way. In a good way. And then, of course, with Bullet Club, we've got Omega, Young Bucks, Cody, Marty Scurll, Farley, Hangman Page, Yujiro, and the Gorillas of Fuck.
Yeah. Nobody really doesn't belong in that line. Well, maybe Yujiro, but I understand why he's around.
I mean, Hangman Page is only there because he's been named in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yujiro's there just to bring those fucking hot skank Japanese bitches.
I wouldn't use that terminology, but pretty much.
The Ariana Grande looking one needs to be in it. Because if it's Access TV and it's the Japanese feed, there's a lot of ass.
Makes sense.
I'm going to have to get Barney, Everybody say it with me. Dead ass. Dead ass.
So, a quick report coming out of the House of Hardcore show. I have results if we want to go through those real quick before we end.
Well, no, because we're doing that on Wednesday. Did Cody win?
Yes.
Right.
Cody defeated Tommy Dreamer in the main event, but some interesting things happened afterwards, and we will get to that on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll save that for afterwards, so I can. Or we'll probably find out now, and then if it's deemed interesting enough, I might go whoa 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 whoa. But so the interesting aspect for that is what structure are they going to do? Because I don't think they do a show where they do all the title matches one show and just have it as sort of a second filler show. Even though, obviously, one is going to be live and one is going to be to tape. Well, I guess it's going to be live, but also to tape.
You got to work tournament matches on both sets of shows and then do the finals on day 2.
Yeah, probably. But I'm talking other things, Intercontinental, your junior heavyweight, you never open weight. Actually, whoa, I've just realized what happens to the never. Because if Suzuki Gun, the only guy that's going over is Sabre, then Goto has to win.
See, here's the thing, Ashley. If you look at the wording of the actual press release itself, the only titles that are listed are the IWGP, the Intercontinental, the IWGP tag, and the Junior tag. And that's all that's listed to be defended, plus the U.S. title tournament. So the never open weight titles are null and void for these sets of shows.
Well,
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we get like Marty Scurll putting the Ring of Honor World Television title up. That could be a possibility, since he's the only ROH champion that's on this show.
Unless it's Kushida versus Skull. I guess it depends what happens at Best in the World, though.
And well, actually, no, that's incorrect because technically the Bucks could put the Ring of Honor tag belts up on the show, even though it's not listed as an ROH show. I mean, with the loose tie-in with New Japan, I wouldn't be shocked if they actually went in that route. Then again, we could have like a Survivor Series style elimination tag match with the Bullet Club as well. There's a lot of different things that could possibly happen. I'm very curious to see when this actual card gets announced for both nights, what we're going to get out of this. Because like I said, we are covering it. It's been confirmed. It was confirmed tonight. We are covering both shows. You're just going to have to wait a week for the second one.
Well, no, it's just going to be a crazy weekend of shit. Well,
Yes.
a crazy week. Considering that
Indeed.
is also the same week that the UFC will be having their grand stuff. You know, you obviously building up to Great Balls of Fire and Brock's return.
Right.
You got Slammiversary. We'll obviously be building up to the G1. So I'm guessing either at that show or at Dominion, they'll be announcing the blocks for G1. I'm guessing more Dominion because it's in Japan. Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to note. So it's come up in today's update.
Wow. Well, real quick, I have something I want. I have an addendum to what I said. So the article that originally came down that I was reading was from a message board that we all know. The actual article itself on F4W Online does officially list Juice Robinson in the New Japan Pro Wrestling lineup. So him still winning the U.S. Championship is still a possibility now.
Or him
and Cody.
Yeah. You ashamed to have Cody though in the US title thing? I don't know. I guess it makes sense because he is US, but whatever. So yeah,
Right.
This was the bit that I wanted to note of the details that Dave apparently knows.
Mm-hmm.
For that July 1st show, it's scheduled 8 p.m. to midnight. Which I don't know whether that's... I'm guessing that's 8 p.m. local time, possibly.
God, I hope not.
I'm not sure. The interesting thing is, though, it's scheduled 8 till midnight, but if the show goes long, it can go long because there's no specific time cue to hit.
That makes sense.
If need be, the show can go as long as 5 hours, as they've scheduled to replay Okada and Omega from the Dominion show at midnight that night. And then the replay of the whatever they air will come after that. The Saturday night show will be geo-blocked live on New Japan World, but will be available on demand the next day. And then the Sunday show will be live on New Japan World and then air on Access from 8 till midnight the following Friday. And again, if it does need to go long, in case it's longer than 4 hours, it can do. So, yeah. So that's 4 hours of wrestling, 3 hours of Slammiversary, 3 hours of Raw. We're going to die.
Oh, God, yeah, pretty much.
And then 4 hours the following week, 3 hours on the Sunday because of Great Balls of Fire, and then 3 hours Raw.
And don't forget, in that time frame, obviously, I'm going to be going to see Impact live here at Universal.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, interesting things, interesting times. Also, it's worth noting that Omega was actually at the press conference in Long Beach. So I guess this officially means the visa thing is done.
It's been fixed permanently.
So, hang on. When's G1 supposed to be happening? G1 Climax 26. I think it is. G1 Climax 2017? I forget the details. Yeah, I don't think it starts. It says, bloody Google. G1 Climax starts July the 1st and ends July 2nd. Nope. Nope.
Yeah, wrong.
Nope.
Wrong shows. Google, wrong shows.
July the 17th and August the 13th.
Yeah.
Bowler's normally like late August, early September, isn't it?
Yep.
And that's when, normally the guys actually sort of get a rest from doing all their stuff in the G1 tournament. So, just a thought.
Yeah.
A thought.
I mean, there are red eyes that exist that totally could bring an elite presence to Bolo this year.
Well, I think I'd say that's a given. I'm just trying to see if there's any updates of PWG.
Yeah, I
Sadly,
haven't looked.
Probably because they're only just starting now. Shit, I better get looking at Twitter.
Yeah, I'd do that if I were you.
I know those guys will be covering it, so. But yeah, it's God. Thinking about it, if you think about everything that we've got now coming up, we've got some interesting stuff possibly going on with WWE. Yet alone the whole NXT and the UK stuff and the women's tournament that's coming over the summer. Impact is going to be having its India stuff. I'm intrigued how that's going to go. Because that could be a shit show. Not in terms of the show being shit, but I just feel there could be some problems, some teething problems with that deal. But we'll see. Ring of Honor's got Best in the World and probably nothing. Probably won't be another pay-per-view till the following September. So we're like 3 months away. So we probably won't be seeing anything then. It's coming back. WCPW's got its weekly stuff on Fridays over the summer. God knows how many indies. We got. Well, it's sort of August to September, but Bowler's probably going to happen around then.
Yep.
King of Trios is start of September, which I'm going to the final day. The gold tournament in Smash Wrestling is coming in June. Next week, you've got Progress Wrestling's big tournament. ICW's got certainly the Shug's House Party show as well, I think, at the end of May. They've probably got another big show that I can't think the name of, but over the rest of the summer. New Japan's got G1 and the Long Beach stuff and Dominion and anything else Hurricane Hall wise. That's just the ones off the top of my head. We've got a busy summer. It's getting congested as all hell.
Well, yeah, Ashley, and also don't think about the fact that, I mean, there's so much stuff going on in this network anyway. There's constant sipping snacks. AJ's doing TV reviews now. Once Fargo finishes, we're going to start a new TV series. The movie reviews every single week. Versus is still going to be running strong. Halloween Horror Nights is only in a couple of months. I mean, we had our second announcement earlier today of Stephen. Ooh, don't want to say that. That's wrong. Of Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining, which is going to be coming to both coasts this year. So we got a lot of stuff coming down the way. And at some point, Ashley has sipping snacks for you guys. Get ready for that.
Probably. Hang on.
There's a video that is going to come up tomorrow at some point that had to be edited. It had to be edited from its previous version. And somewhere down the line, the unedited, uncensored version is going to go up here on this network down the line. And just to whet your appetite, it's an AJ video.
Oh, okay. Somebody made a very interesting point. I didn't just realize. So, full credit to @ZachBrown19. This Sami Callihan, Adam Cole thing.
Okay.
What if Adam Cole had one more match?
It would make sense.
Considering, what state they're in and what state some other guy who we thought had problems with his visa may or may not be in.
Yep. I could see that. I could totally see that.
Is PWG going to get Adam Cole versus Kenny Omega?
I think it's almost a
As
certainty
an
at this point.
impromptu bonus match.
I don't think it's going to be. See, here's the thing. Even if Adam Cole shows up tomorrow night in Chicago, I still think that if they booked him early enough, regardless if anybody knew he was booked early enough, his last indie date officially before going over to NXT permanently could be against Kenny Omega at Bola. That would not shock me one bit. And it makes perfect sense if you really think about it. Because look at Drew Galloway. When Galloway signed, he was still finishing up his indie dates.
Mm-hmm.
The Hardys, when they signed, they were still finishing up indie dates. It could be that same scenario. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So I think that's our show, Ashley.
Is it? That's good.
Yeah, we join us tomorrow. After as soon as the NXT Takeover Chicago
shit.
show finishes.
Tweets from just under an hour ago are saying the ring just got here.
Hold on, where are we seeing this at?
I mean, we've got pictures from @DTAN0914, @TheChamp_James. The U-Haul trucks got there late.
Oh God, you got a long night ahead of yourselves if you're in Reseda.
Remember as well that the last ring got done in ever. With the other company that it was lent out to.
Oh my God, yeah, I see the picture right now.
A month or so. Was it like a month or so ago?
Yep.
Can't remember. So, yeah. Daniel R. DeMarco's going, so the ring just showed up. It's going to be a late night, ladies and gents.
Oh boy. Have fun. Have fun, anyone in Reseda right now.
And that's how you make up for the fact That's fucking Kenny Omega's going to be on that show. Because then they'll just be like, I don't care if I stay too late. The cleaner is here.
Right.
It is happening. Ba ba bam.
So again, that's our show. Real quick, thank you, Logan, for being in chat tonight. Follow him on Twitter at LoganBurton10. Big shout out as always to Acer for consistently promoting our podcast every single time we do one here on this network. At Acer1337 on Twitter, yes in a row for all the podcasts you should be listening to, wrestling and or otherwise, and Acer5000 on YouTube as well. Shout out to Pedro. I'm sure he'll be around if he wasn't live tonight, not speaking in chat. I'm sure he will check the show out. It's at Evil Takes Root on Twitter as well. And Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at Ash is my name UK.
All right. So, like I said before, AJ content continues tomorrow with the edited version of the Alien Covenant, AJ's movie review. The unedited version will be available down the line, somewhere when you least expect it. New Versus coming up on Sunday, and of course, wrestling fans rejoice because NXT TakeOver Chicago is tomorrow. We'll go live right after it's over. Same with Backlash, we'll go live after it's over, and Monday for Raw, we'll go live after it's over. So those will be available here on this network. Back here next Wednesday for the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast at 9 p.m. to talk all about all things independent wrestling, as well as talking a little WWE, a little NXT, and a little New Japan Pro Wrestling, What Culture Pro Wrestling, UFC, and mixed martial arts. We're going to be discussing Ring of Honor and all points in between. So, Been Sip and Snack back here next Thursday. So that's your show tonight. And thanks, everyone, for joining us. As always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you have chosen a Popcast. Thank everyone for watching. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Dun, 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 dun. Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate.